I got 30 years to spend 5 for probation. You know, if the judge got sentenced to 30 years, you know, he'd be freaking out.
I don't think about the days, I just go day by day. Like, I go by each meal. Like, to say, try to be good on each meal. Like, yeah.
25 years I couldn't comprehend. Wrote a goodbye letter to my family and hung myself.
I got 30 years to spend 5 for probation. I never thought I could actually go to like prison. I just thought the worst would be probation or boys' school, but you don't realize until after the fact that every decision you make, every choice has a repercussion, whether good or bad. And you just need to keep that in mind because, you know, this can happen to you.
A juvenile detention center is part of the family court or underage justice system in most states. It's staffed by police and other state officials like social workers and Department of Corrections employees. Young people are taken to a juvenile detention center when arrested for a crime, pending an initial hearing. At the hearing, the court hears motions and takes testimony to determine whether the juvenile can be released into the family's custody. Generally, the issue is whether the juvenile is likely to flee and commit further offenses or will live in an environment conducive to discipline and care.
Worst thing for me is like when you look outside, like it's dark outside, you know, and then you look up at the sky, it's like totally black. And then I see the razor wire, the brick buildings and all that. I'm just like thinking, wow, like this is really prison, you know? Like sometimes it just hits you. Like
sometimes it feels like a dream. It's like it's not real.
Home no more.
Oh, this is definitely not home.
Teenagers like Colt Lundy and his roommate are not alone. Across the United States, nearly 10,000 kids under the age of 18 are serving time in adult prisons and jails.
About a month ago, somebody got stabbed in the mouth. They tried to stab him in the neck, but they missed, got him in the cheek.
The CO got stabbed too, right?
No, he got hit with a lock sock. And a lock sock.
It's the prison weapon, the lock sock.
Lock your sock, put it in a sock, and then you tie it. You would tie it right here so it doesn't come out. Then put another sock around it so it doesn't rip. And you got a weapon. This is deadly.
So a lot of people in here get hurt.
Died too. In Westville, some guy not too long ago just got beat to death with lock socks to death.
My name is Miles Folsom. I'm 17 years old and I'm incarcerated at Wabash Valley Correctional Facility. I didn't care about anything. I started marijuana at the age of 7. I personally think that I'd become an alcoholic. I would only drink hard liquor, and I was 13, and then I turned 14, and we were just partying all the time. When they sentenced me to 36 years, I was speechless. I just looked in awe as the judge walked out of the courtroom.
At 16, Miles was sentenced for felony robbery and criminal confinement charges. He still keeps a local newspaper headline from what he calls the worst day of his life.
As the reality of facing a lengthy prison term set in late last week, 16-year-old Miles Folsom went to the bathroom at Porter County Jail, carved "I'm sorry" on his chest, and attempted to hang himself. He was rescued before he died and was well enough Friday to be brought over to the court to tell the judge he is a changed man. Porter County Deputy Prosecutor Cheryl Polaric said that she did not buy the change of heart and the claim was not enough to overcome the young man's lengthy and violent criminal history. Porter Circuit Court Judge Mary Harper sentenced Folsom to 36 years behind bars. Even 25 years I couldn't comprehend, and I wasn't thinking clearly, and it really hit me. And I wrote a goodbye letter to my family and hung myself. Another inmate had heard noises or something from me gasping, and he had found me and called for the police. And finally, they got me. They picked me up and pulled, because it was a slip knot, and they pulled it from around my head. I mean, this is prison. I mean, you can only do so many things, but if you do nothing, then you become nothing. I started writing kids on the outs. They were in a group called RISK that I used to be in, that I failed, and to tell them what it's like for me in here. because there's many open cells. One day they could walk in, and then I don't want to see that.
At night, when you don't have anything to do, that's really when it gets to you. Like, you just think like all the things you could have been doing on the outside, everything that you're missing out on.
You just gotta basically rely on somebody in here that you can halfway trust, because you don't trust anybody in here, nobody. Other than that, you're on your own.
Like afterwards, I couldn't even believe myself, like what happened. How could I possibly be in this situation? I went from like A's and B's student to like in jail. Like, I didn't even know what to think at the time. Every day I just think, if I just would have, like just done one thing different. I mean, it's a waste of time to do that because you can't. Once it's done, it's done. There's no going back.
It's different than what I thought it would be. I wasn't expecting the razy wire. Sucks. You don't want to come here.
He's not our first murderer here, but he's not the typical thing what you'd see. You just saw the paper and you expect a much larger, scary kid, and that's just not the case with him. He's kind of a little guy. Even for his age, I think he's kind of a little guy. It's hard to imagine someone that age being in that position.
Here in just a minute, 3 offenders will be coming in. We'll be processing them into the facility. Two of them are the youth offenders.
All right, boys, come on.
Patterson Shepherd, 179656.
All right, down on the run.
We'll put all your clothes in these bags here. Put your shoes in this bag, your clothes in this bag. All right?
The majority of them are quiet, not knowing what to expect in this environment. It's totally different from where they came from.
Like at first when you get here, you're just nervous because you don't know how it's going to be like. And the uncomfortable level is just like 9 or 10, like all the time.
Hold the sign right here below your chin.
On any given day in the United States, more than 10,000 kids under the age of 18 are held in jails and adult prisons.
Go.
Today, 17-year-olds Aaron Gabriel and Harrison Shepherd become 2 of these statistics.
People don't know much about prison except what they see in movies and stuff like that. But the food's horrible. You gotta wear a jumpsuit every day. You only come out of your cell a couple hours every day. You gotta be on guard all the time. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't have any freedom. Freedom's the worst part.
Growing up, I never really realized the path that I was headed. Like, it's not that I couldn't have seen it, but I just never took the time out. It didn't hit me until the judge sentenced me to 36 years. And then it's like, oh my God, the rest of my life could just be gone. I don't believe that there was anything that could have helped me besides for this. I mean, I'm remorseful for what I did, but I mean, it takes more than that. I mean, once you've done something, you could say sorry all you want, but I mean, there was a crime done, and you have to serve your punishment. You learn from everything in your life. Everything you do carves, who you become. Like I said, if you do nothing, you become nothing.
Man, if somebody would come here and just give me a second chance, I'd just be so happy, because I know now that when I get out, I'm not ever messing up again, because I know what it's like in here, really, not just on TV, but really what it's like to experience it.
I don't wish nobody bad on nobody. I wish nobody would have to ever get locked up, but I mean, people do what they do, so all they can do is learn from what they done. But, I mean, I'm just gonna say next time you see me, it's gonna be out there somewhere positive, though. For sure. That's really that.
Dear Karen, I received your letter tonight at rec. Since the last time you were here, I've changed a lot. Day-to-day life in prison is very taxing on your mental state. You really have to learn fast or you will get ripped off and whatnot, but I'm doing pretty good. It was funny, the other day I heard someone on the phone say she was dreading to have to spend 3 hours at her grandparents', and I was thinking to myself how wonderful it would be to be able to stay at my grandparents'. It amazes me how different life is in prison. It's like a whole different world behind these walls, and I remember how I was and think of how many kids are out there being dumb. They don't even realize it only takes one bad choice. That's all it takes to take away a good chunk of your life to this horrible place.
In a world that demands justice when the unthinkable becomes reality, there are no easy answers when that reality includes kids.
Outside rec!
The United States has the highest incarceration rate in the world and remains the only nation to sentence its juveniles to life without parole.
Let's call yard rec!
If I could send a message to all the kids around the world, it would be something like this. You're not untouchable. Have fun and do what you want, but always think before you do something. Nothing is worth being locked away from your family, friends, and freedom. I'll go for now. Sincerely, Cole Lundy.